How to onboard bookkeeping clients in 2024 in your bookkeeping business. My name is Zach Pasquarello. If we have not met yet before, I own my own bookkeeping business. I've been doing this for 4 years. I have more than 70 clients. I'm making more than $30,000 every single month. I'm not telling you that to convince you that I make a lot of money. If you don't know, I am a huge advocate for financial transparency. I tell you that because I want to convince you that you can make a lot of money. I teach people every single day how to start and grow their own bookkeeping business. I'm not teaching you something out of a textbook. I'm not teaching you theory. I teach you exactly what I have done. Everything I talk about is exactly what I am currently doing in my bookkeeping business. I have a lot of resources for you. Check out all of the links in the description of this video. I have a ton of digital downloads on my website. I have a full course that will teach you everything you need to know from bookkeeping fundamentals, QuickBooks Online tutorials, marketing strategy, sales techniques, onboarding clients. I go into so much more detail in my course than I can in this quick YouTube video. So definitely recommend check out all of the links in the description below. And finally, if you want to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me, we can meet one-on-one and I will answer all of your questions. Okay, let's stop wasting time. Let's jump right into it. How to onboard bookkeeping clients in 2024. It all starts with marketing and sales. I'm not going to talk too much about marketing and sales, but obviously you need to get your name out there. You need to get prospective clients interested in your bookkeeping services. Let's assume you've already done marketing, you already did some sales, and now you have the sales consultation booked. So sales and onboarding clients is kind of the transition period where we go from marketing and sales to prospective clients to onboarding clients, but we need that sales consultation to first get started. So I recommend 10 minutes, a 10-minute sales consultation. It doesn't need to be 30 minutes. It doesn't need to be in person. It can just be over the phone. And go to my website. I have a full sales script that I use for my sales consultations. I go through everything you need to talk about in that sales meeting, but basically you just want to ask a couple questions. You want to figure out, are they currently using QuickBooks Online? If not, are they willing to switch to QuickBooks Online? Who was their previous bookkeeper and why are they switching? Keep an eye out for red flags. This is a great opportunity for you to find out what kind of bookkeeper they had before and why they ended up leaving that person, or red flag, why that bookkeeper ended up leaving the business owner. Not every prospective client is going to be a dream client. There are some business owners out there who might be more difficult to work with. How many bank accounts do you have? How many credit card accounts do you have? Is your QuickBooks account updated? Do you have loans, mortgages? Do you buy vehicles? Do you buy houses? Do you need help with payroll? Do you need help with taxes? I don't do payroll. I don't do taxes, but it's still good to know if they are expecting you to do payroll or to do taxes. I want to be upfront. I only do bookkeeping, but I partner with a CPA. He can do payroll. He can do taxes for you. I start the whole conversation with, tell me a little bit about your business. What do you have going on? I let them do the talking. I take notes during the sales consultation and I figure out what their problems are. The whole point and the best way to close a sales consultation and to get a new client, figure out what their problems are and then offer to solve those problems for them. We don't just do bookkeeping, we reduce the stress of business owners. At the end of the sales call, you need to quote them. I have a lot of people ask me, how much is it going to cost? I usually tell people the same thing every single time. I can't give you an exact quote because it all depends on the size and complexity of your business. I can tell you my range right now is it starts at $250 per month, and I have some clients who pay me $2,500 per month. I'd imagine you're probably going to be somewhere in between $250 and $2,500. A ballpark, a rough estimate, my clients right now, I'm seeing $400 to $800 per month is pretty average, but you could be under that, you could be more than that. I don't want to tell you one way or the other until I get to see your bank accounts and your credit cards. So in order to give you an exact quote, I only need one of two things. I need to be invited to your QuickBooks account, or I need to see your 3 most recent bank statements and credit card statements. Before you get off the phone, make sure you come up with a plan with the prospective client how you're going to get that information. Get their email address, send them instructions on how to invite you to their QuickBooks, or give them your email address. It doesn't matter. I recommend you need to be in control of the communication. So I recommend always you get their email address. That way you can send them an email. Don't just give them your email and hope and pray that they will email you. Okay, get the information for the quote and the sales call, and then immediately I try to do this as quickly as possible. The faster you get them a quote, the faster they accept it, the less likely they are to go with somebody else. If it takes you 3 weeks to quote somebody, they're not going to hire you. Let's just be honest. So in order to quote somebody, all I do is I look at their bank transactions and their credit card transactions. I add up everything in the past 3 months, and that is your monthly bookkeeping quote, because I take your average number of transactions per month and I multiply that by $3. So if we just add up 3 months of transactions, that will be average number of monthly transactions times $3. So if you have 100 credit card transactions and 50 bank account transactions every month, that'll be 150 times 3. Your bookkeeping fee will be $450 per month, and that only covers bookkeeping. I categorize transactions, I reconcile accounts, and I generate financial reports. That does not cover taxes or CFO services or advisory or strategy or payroll, strictly bookkeeping. I only manage your QuickBooks Online. That also does not include cash management. If you want me to input accounts payable and accounts receivable into QuickBooks, that's going to be extra. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. I have other videos on my channel talking about cash management, accounts payable, accounts receivable. Once I send them the quote, they accept the quote. I will ask them, when do you want me to start? Usually they say, I don't know, this month. And this is the point where I hop on the phone and I explain to them, the monthly fee is going to cost $450 for every month you want me to do bookkeeping. So if you hire me in July, I'm only going to categorize July transactions for $450 per month. So if you want me to go back and maybe your previous bookkeeper stopped in April, so you need me to categorize your May, June, and July transactions, it's going to be $450 for May, $450 for June, $450 for July, and then every month moving forward, it's going to continue to be $450. So the confusing part is you hire me in July for $450. I just work for you. That just covers me working for you in July, and I can categorize transactions from all the months and all the weeks and all the days in the past, in the future. That's not how it goes. My monthly fee only applies to transactions in that month. So if you want me to do a 2023 cleanup, it's going to be $450 times 12, and then $450 times January through July to get you caught up. So let's say, for example, everything's all caught up. I just need you to start in July. If there's no catch-up required, I will usually charge an onboarding fee equal to 1 month of bookkeeping services. This, you can play it by ear. You can tell. Some clients are super organized. Everything is perfectly set in place, or maybe it's a brand new business and there's not going to be a lot of work. They already have a QuickBooks account. Maybe they don't have a QuickBooks account. I don't have a set in stone strategy for this, but you can kind of tell. You got access to their QuickBooks. You can kind of see this is super simple, super straightforward. This client barely has any money. I'm going to help them out. I'm not going to charge them the onboarding fee. Or maybe you say, whoa, this client has 10 loans, 5 credit cards, 10 employees. There's a lot going on here. It's going to require a lot to onboard this client. Go ahead and charge them that 1 extra month of onboarding. And that way you can do your best job to check the balance sheet, check the trial balance, check the profit and loss, and make sure everything for the previous couple months all looks good. So the onboarding fee is always equal to 1 month. Sometimes I charge it, sometimes I don't. I usually charge it. If they want me to do like a January through July, I won't charge them an onboarding fee because I'm going to charge them $450 or whatever their monthly fee is for January through July. So that's a lot of money already. I'm not going to charge them an onboarding fee, but usually if they want me to start right away, or if they have a ton going on, it's really complicated, it's kind of messy, I'll charge an onboarding fee. Okay, so once I've explained how the quoting system works and they've accepted the quote, I send them my client agreement. I use PandaDoc. Check out the link in the description of this video. If you sign up with my link, I get a small referral commission bonus. I use PandaDoc for my business, so I'm not just trying to sell it because it's like going to pay me a lot of money. I actually straight up legitimately use PandaDoc in my own business. I think it's great, so I recommend it to everybody else. I can electronically send agreements. And side note, I promise you guys, I'm not trying to make money by like selling all these things, but so many people have asked me for like suggestions and recommendations. So I just have created these things to help you guys out. I also have a client agreement for sale on my website. So check it out, get it if you want. If you don't want to pay for it, you can honestly probably go to like Rocket Lawyer or lawdepot.com. You could probably make your own client agreement if you want, but if you want to save the time, go ahead and buy my agreement. sign up with PandaDoc, and then you can electronically send agreements to your customers. Now, I try to protect myself through the onboarding process, because as you get started, as you grow, you're going to realize that a lot of people are going to accept your quote and then ghost you for whatever reason. Maybe they aren't too serious about bookkeeping. Maybe they don't have a lot of money. They can't afford you. Or maybe they just ended up going with a different bookkeeper and they didn't want to tell you that they're not going to go with you. So they're just going to ghost you. So you need to protect yourself. You're going to be excited in the beginning. You're going to send a quote. They're going to accept it. And you're going to be so excited. You just landed your first client. You want to get started right away. You got to protect yourself, because there's a chance that they're not going to pay you, or they're not going to sign the client agreement, even though they accepted the quote. I know it sounds crazy, but I promise you it's going to happen to you at some point if it hasn't already. So protect yourself. You've already done a good amount of work. You had the sales consultation, you got invited to their QuickBooks, or you got their bank statements and credit card statements. You reviewed everything, you did the math, you sent them the quote. Like, you've probably already spent at least 30 minutes, if not an hour, on this client. So don't spend any more time. Send them the client agreement, send them their first invoice, wait until you get paid, wait until they sign the client agreement, and then get started. I don't do anything else after the quote, after the client agreement, after the invoice. I don't do anything after that until I get paid. I get paid upfront always. So if you want me to start doing your bookkeeping right now in the summer of 2024, I will send you an invoice for July and August, and then you will pay that invoice, and then I will do your bookkeeping. And then moving forward, you will pay September 1st, and then I will do your bookkeeping for September. I don't bill people after the fact, just because I don't want to deal with chasing down accounts receivable for clients who don't want to pay. I've never had an issue with it. Everybody's always like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. I'll pay upfront for the first month. Or if you want me to do a whole 2023 cleanup, 90% of the time you are paying upfront. Only very few situations where will I say, sure, you can pay 50% upfront and 50% when it's all done. Very rarely do I do that. I don't want to mess around with that. You're going to pay upfront if you want me to do the job, because I get it done in a week anyway. So whether you pay it now or next week, it doesn't matter. You're going to pay upfront, and then I will get all the work done. Once they pay the invoice, now request bank statements and credit card statements if they want you to do a catch-up or a cleanup. So if you want me to do January through July, as soon as you pay the invoice, I'm going to send you an email. Hey, please send me all of your 2024 bank statements and credit card statements and loan statements so that I can reconcile your accounts. And then start categorizing transactions. Go into the bank feed, start categorizing transactions. If you want, before you do that, you can look at the balance sheet. You can look at the profit and loss. You can look for any red flags. The balance sheet, maybe you have some payroll liabilities or some undeposited funds or some lines of credit or some numbers that are negative that shouldn't be negative. Go through the balance sheet. Maybe you can highlight some line items, some chart of accounts, send it over to your client and say, hey, everything looks good except for these 5 accounts. I highlighted them. I'm not sure what they are. Could you maybe help explain what they are? Are they old accounts that have been closed out and just never closed out in QuickBooks? You want to hop on a call? Maybe we can go through this together to figure out what these accounts are. But other than that, go through the balance sheet, go through the profit and loss. Now your only job is to categorize their transactions. Add them to your weekly tracker, categorize their transactions on a weekly basis, and then at the end of the month, it's business as usual. Request their bank statements, request their credit card statements, reconcile their accounts, and then send them their financial reports. Try not to overcomplicate things. All we do is categorize transactions, reconcile accounts, and generate financial reports. When you get a new client, take it slowly, send emails, communicate effectively, and stay organized. If you ever have a question, never hesitate to send the client an email with questions. Keep in mind, you might be feeling overwhelmed with their bookkeeping. I promise you, keep this in mind. Your client is feeling just as overwhelmed, if not more overwhelmed than you are about their finances. So keep that in mind. They are also very stressed out, probably very confused, and they want it to be as simple as possible. So I'm guilty of this. Try not to bombard them with a million questions in the beginning. Take it slow. Figure out, how do these people communicate? Send them one email, and do they respond same day or next day? Or maybe it takes them 2 weeks to respond. Figure out how your client responds, how quickly they respond, how efficient they are with answering your questions, and then you can proceed accordingly. If they are super detail oriented, they respond to all your emails within 24 hours, then maybe ramp it up. Send them more questions. Be more detail oriented. If they take 2 weeks to respond to your questions and they're very not detail oriented, it seems like they don't care about their finances, maybe ramp it back a little bit. Maybe don't send so many questions. Maybe just do some things and let them know, hey, I categorize transactions this way. Let me know if you want me to make any changes. All right, guys, that's it. Hopefully this video helps you onboard bookkeeping clients in 2024. Check out all the links in the description of this video. Check out my course. I promise you it will help you start and grow your bookkeeping business. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm posting new videos every single week teaching you how to start and grow your own bookkeeping business.